In today's video, we're going to talk about the brand new Honor MagicPad 2. This is launching in Berlin at the same time as the Honor Magic V3, and one of the nice things about this is a very well-built, full-fledged tablet from Honor. We're talking about the 8S Gen 3 as the processor, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. We're talking about also 8 speakers in here with IMAX configuration. Last but not least, a high refresh rate on this device all the way up to 144 Hertz. And of course, pen input, keyboard input, a whole bunch of different things we're going to check out and talk about. All the things that make the Honor MagicPad 2 so unique. This is TK. Let's check it out. Like and subscribe, and make sure you hit that bell icon so that you're always notified to whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. Honor was nice enough to send me the entire package. We're not only talking about the actual tablet itself, it actually measures at 12.3 inches. This is the Honor MagicPad 2, by the way. And they also included the Honor Magic 2 smart Bluetooth keyboard that is very nice, super functional, also draws all of its power directly from the actual tablet itself. Last but not least is the Honor Magic Pencil 3. This is a brand new pen that was also released at the same time, providing us the ability of using pen input onto the tablet. And altogether, this makes what we have here, the Honor MagicPad 2. This is the pen as we talked about before. The keyboard is connected as part of the case. It does have a nice little kick option, magnetically connecting to the bottom base, and now it becomes entirely one piece. Now I'm using this with the front-facing unlocking, so basically face unlock on this. So you notice I didn't have to put in a pin. The display is beautiful, large display, 8 speakers, 4 on each side. The pen input automatically gets activated in here, and when you're not using the pen, you can actually position it on the top, and it'll charge directly basically wirelessly from the case, which makes this so that you don't actually have, you only have to charge the actual main unit itself. Now, the main unit is powered by a 10,050 milliampere battery that is supported also with a 66 wired charging. So this is going to be one of the nice things you can do. Charges wired, no wireless obviously, but a wired connection that will last also very fast on charging, but the pad itself will basically last us a very long duration. We have a nice little smart dock on the bottom, shortcuts built in here, as well as recent applications. Swiping on the left takes us directly into the Google feed. Swiping on the right, just basically more applications depending on what you need. But if I swipe from the top left here, I'm taken directly into Smart Search. Now you're able to change that. This is one of the nice things I love about this. So if I basically go ahead and zoom out, go to Home Screen Settings, and when you get into the Settings section under the search here, you can change that to be Notification or use the Honor Search. Now, one of the nice things is once I change that now, anything on the left here when I swipe, it'll take me directly into Notifications. If I swipe to the right, it takes me directly into Control Center, similar to what we've seen before. But if let's say I want to be able to use the search functionality, which is the Honor Search, it's still present here and very easy to activate. Everything is pretty straightforward. Yes, it was a very hot day here in Los Angeles, and it's promising to be another hot day and another hot day and another hot day. Now, the unit that I have is, again, the Honor MagicPad 2. It is ROD2W09. It is running basically the 8.0.1.124. That's going to be the latest version available with GPU Turbo. 8.01 is really the official version on top of Android 14. And this is running the Snapdragon 8S Gen 3. 12 gigs of RAM, expanded as well with 8 additional gigs of RAM. 256 gigs of storage is the configuration that I have, and the resolution is a 3000 by 1920. May 1st, 2024, as well as August 1st for Android security patch update. That came in with the update that came in about a couple of days ago for us. When it comes down to AI functionalities, they are not skimping here. Again, similar to the V3, we have AI suggestion, Magic Text, Magic Portal, smart sensing, as well as air gestures that are built in. And one of the nice things that I love about this is they also incorporated the additional functions here that we have, which essentially is the AI eraser. Now, what I want to show you guys is a quick example. This is a picture that I took at the office. This is Goku flying on his basically the Nimbus cloud, and I wanted to be able to actually erase something. So this is actually the result part of it, but if I wanted to basically, let's say, do this as far as just like a live edit function, you'll see here on the right side we have Magic Eraser. I'll select that, and what I ended up doing with that picture there is I just selected or did a draw circle around the handle that's on the door. It gets recognized automatically, and again, as long as your internet connection is pretty decent or fast enough, you should be able to get these results as fast as you're seeing them here. Once it knows what it's doing, it's just going to magically remove it, and you may end up having to do it a couple of times because, as you notice right there's a little bit of a shadow left. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that one more time. It's going to go ahead and try to remove that and clean it up as best as possible. Now, obviously, the intention of this is to be done with subjects. You could do this outside. You could do it in many different ways. And again, as it goes away, now it looks like a perfect picture. You can go in and do a comparison right there. Just press and hold. You can see how it was before and how it is right now. Perfect, and it works just absolutely fantastic. One thing I do also want to mention here under the settings section that we have is we also have a support here for wireless projection similar to the Magic V3. Although the MagicPad 2 does not support video output over USB, it does allow us at least to use the wireless projection to project it to our TVs, and then from there be able to basically use it as a desktop experience. So multi-screen collaboration there, at that point you're able to do that directly, and that's one of the nice things that we have here with the tablet. Once you turn this on, we'll go ahead and say, I'll give it a second here. Notice right here on the phone that it actually does connect and automatically showcases the information. And now on the actual tablet itself, we have a representation of our phone. I can swipe, I can open it up, I can swipe, I can go directly into search, I can also transfer content from it. So let's go ahead and go into the gallery application. I'm going to go back here. And at this point, as you can see here, I can actually move it directly into the tablet. And now the image itself shows up exactly here. Now, one thing to keep in mind, my phone screen is off. I'm no longer using the phone, but it is still connected. I'll go ahead and keep the orientation configured correctly. It does allow the phone to actually go into sleep. But if I want to, let's say, basically put it into a minimizing mode, it sits here on the right, and then I can actually look and enjoy this image. This image was shot, and this is the full resolution image directly from my Magic V3 onto the MagicPad 2. And if I want to be able to edit it, I can use my pen, I can do different things. And you just look at the detail, look at the water, the dew on this from the morning's dew. It's just absolutely fantastic. Great images. The V3 has some amazing cameras. Now on this device, we have two cameras. We have a 9 megapixel camera on the front and a 13 megapixel camera on the back. One thing to keep in mind, these are going to be obviously great for video conference calls and so on. It is not intended to be basically some of the best performances. I still think that using, let's go ahead and disconnect. Using a device, let's say here, like the Magic V3 is going to be much better experience, and you're not going to be disappointed there. And then transferring information, as you saw there, it's super fast. They connect to each other. You're able to see a representation of your phone's display turns off, everything works great. Now, one of the other features that I really like about this is the fact that it actually has a built-in transcription as well as translation function. So we can translate between multiple languages. Let's say we go in here, change it over, and I can select from multiple languages: Chinese, French, Italian, English, German, Malay, as well as Arabic. And if I don't want to do that, I'm actually able to do, let's go ahead and do a swipe back. We'll go back into the text. We're actually able to do transcription, and we can also select the language that we want. So under the transcription, same language configuration. And what I like about it is I'm actually able to expand here, and you'll see how we have it. And as I'm playing the audio back, it actually will start highlighting where we're looking at it. If I skip over here, that's where we are. If we have multiple speakers, we can highlight them, we can mark them, as well as do obviously sharing. And it's one of the nicest things that I liked about them is how well this actually runs on the device. And it's very nice and simply inserted here and available directly in there. If you want to activate all the functions of the pen, just turn it on. You'll have access directly into Type Note, Settings tab, of course, Handwritten Note, and then Open Notes to be able to start using some text or even drawing with it. It's very nice and very functional, and I love the fact that I don't have to worry about charging the pen. It automatically charges it and tells me what the battery charge level is. Now, when it comes down to the camera application, when we jump into it, again, we have photo, video, and options different here. Under video option, we can jump in directly under here. It'll say 1080p, 4K, and when it comes to resolution, 30 frames per second is going to be the max. If I switch over to the front-facing camera, again, 4K, 30 frames per second is going to be the best resolution. Let's go ahead and do a quick sample of that right here from the Honor MagicPad 2. Okay, so we're getting a little bit of a BTS look here in the studio. You're looking here, we're recording with the front-facing camera. This is the brand new Honor MagicPad 2, 9 megapixel front-facing camera, 4K 30 frames per second recording. And this is just be a good example of audio and video coming in from the tablet. We're going to go ahead and switch it over to the 13 megapixel camera in the back and see if the image quality gets even better. Switching it over to the main sensor on the back, again, 4K 30 frames per second is the main resolution that we get here. We actually have an additional microphone that's positioned directly at us. So my hoping is that the audio is a little bit better, as well as the picture quality that we get here. The 8S Gen 3 is very powerful. We have 12 gigs of RAM, that 256 gigs of internal storage, and that's going to be giving us some of the best rounded experience. But I feel like always the main sensors on the back always get the most love in any device. So my hope again that this provides us the best experience. Now, as you saw there, the audio performance is absolutely fantastic. Again, this is going to be 4K across on the front and the main sensor. The thing I mentioned to you guys at the beginning is that there is no port to charge the keyboard for here. Both the keyboard and the pen are connected via Bluetooth, but it seems like whenever the actual connection is positioned here, there is somewhat of a wireless charging here that's providing the keyboard the power that it needs, as well as the pen the power that it needs. So we don't have to worry about that. One thing to keep in mind though, is if you do remove the keyboard and let's say you position it downwards in this form where the keyboard is facing up, it actually still supports the keyboard touch. So that's one thing to keep in mind. If you want to be able to disable the keyboard functionality, make it take all the way down and put the keyboard all the way facing downward, so it's facing the other direction from the tablet, and you're not going to have any problems. And at this point, the tablet becomes just like a regular tablet, as you can imagine. The pen input is very quick, very responsive, and the best thing I'll probably say is just be aware where your things are. And this actually, the magnets that we have here are pretty strong. The next step we're going to talk about obviously is the speakers, or the performance that we have in here. We have 8 speakers positioned in here. By default, the system is configured to run spatial audio on here, providing us more of a well-rounded sound filling experience. Now we do have the ability of actually jumping into the Honor Hisense option here. This is just standard stereo. You can go in there, customize it between standard, audio, vocals, the different kind of EQs that you have built in. For me, I've actually been keeping it under spatial audio, mostly because it sounds really good and it just fills up the experience that you're in there. Under more sound options, you're able to go in there and turn off the additional sound lock screen and so on. Nothing a big issue there. And last but not least is we're going to go ahead and listen to our favorite song, Alex Scrindo Jumbo by NCS Release. Now, I'm actually not going to play it at the highest level because I feel like at the highest level, it's going to be very, very loud. But I want you to hear how well it sounds like even when we're playing it. Let's go ahead and see here at about maybe, I would say maybe 60–70% here on this device.
Jack it up.
Now, as you hear it right there, the sound is very full. We can definitely hear and feel some of the bass that we have in here from the speakers that we have built in. So that's one of the really nice things. The audio experience is not going to disappoint. The last thing, obviously, we're going to talk about is obviously some gaming and what we're able to do here. Call of Duty Mobile runs at 120 frames per second. The display can go all the way up to 144, but that's the maximum we're able to do there. We also have Need for Speed No Limits that I installed there, Katana Zero that I downloaded directly from the Netflix library, so it's really nice. And of course, we have access to Game Center. Very similar to the V3 that we get in there. I'm showing you guys a little bit of sample there as far as gaming, what we're looking at from the brand new tablet. It's really nice. Main thing I will probably say is just make sure you flip the keyboard facing the other direction of the tablet so you don't have any interference there, and you'll be able to enjoy the game very nicely. All 3 games that I played here were using directly the touch input on the display. They were not using the keyboard. Fortunately, I wasn't able to configure it to be able to be a controller, but this is a nice thing that we have in here. And of course, you can always connect a Bluetooth controller if you'd like to use those. I think the biggest thing about the MagicPad 2 is the improvements that we've seen before. We have one of the latest processors on the market, the 8S Gen 3. A lot of RAM, 12 gigs of RAM, 12 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs of internal storage. We have the AI functionalities. I love the functional options that they added into the Notes app. Now, this carried over from the V3, which is really nice. So we get those functional options to be able to actually not only just transcribe, if let's say you're in a meeting, you want to transcribe, and the meeting itself, let's say, is in a foreign language, you can translate it into your own language. So basically, if you're sitting in a meeting and let's say they're speaking in French and German and Chinese, and you don't understand the language, but you want to be able to participate or maybe have some input, turn that functional option there. The microphones that we have in there, as you heard, even when we did the video recording, they're very nice and they have a very good pickup on them. And you'll be able to see that and get the translation done on the device very nicely. The Magic Eraser works beautifully if you're going to take pictures with this, or if you're going to transfer images, let's say from a V3 or another Honor device that supports the device connection or the multi-screen collaboration in there. And one of the things I really liked about it is that, again, that wireless projection function works very nicely. And because this kind of works like a, I was going to say like a laptop experience, connecting this to an external monitor and using that wireless connection still allows us to use our device. So that means I can actually use, let's say, a Bluetooth mouse and actually be able to control the device and get that multi-computer experience from the tablet, and again, share the content from it. I will say I wish that there was video output on there to be able to use some glasses like AR glasses. The V3 does support those, so that's where it's nicely. But one thing to keep in mind is they just don't have video output at this point. Maybe the next generation of this device will. But other than that, very nice, very well rounded. I love the fact that I don't have to charge the keyboard or the pen separately. Everything is just part of the battery that we have on the actual tablet. 66 watt charging here is pretty fast considering some of the other options that we have on the market, as well as the fact that we also have a large battery that will last us for days. So With that being said, I do want to say thank you very much to Honor for allowing me to check out the Honor MagicPad 2. And I hope that you guys like this tablet and the setup that we're looking at here. I think they're going to be sold separately as far as, you know, the pen and the keyboard, but I feel like the keyboard is going to be a must when you're getting this tablet, and the pen is going to definitely take that experience to the next level, because you're also able to use what they're referring to essentially is kind of like a magic pointer in there that becomes more of a Bluetooth controller for the UI. So if, let's say, you're flipping through charts, you're projecting, let's say, you know, some PowerPoint presentations out of this, you're not going to be disappointed. It's going to work beautifully as a Bluetooth controller. So thank you very much for the support. Like and subscribe as usual, and as of course, I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.